All right, I think I'm going live. Looks like the mic could be working. One of the points are in green. So let's see if we could pick up a live feed. All right, we're looking to see if I'm showing up live here. Before I start saying anything, it is live. So now I'm back. I could see it move. And it's happening right now. So I'm going to go ahead and keep on talking here. I'm getting some sign that it is happening. Yep, it's running live. So I'm on here. Hearing myself in the background. Today is June 27th, 2024. This is Clear Blue Radiance. I'm the guy straightening out his hat. The original program designer of this podcaster, the originator of Clear Blue Radiance. I'm Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. I've been a spiritual counselor for 40 plus years now, and I enjoy helping people like yourself gain greater clarity in your life and help you define or discover or redefine your purpose. And when we say your purpose, that's your reason for being here, your reason for functioning in the world. And one of the things I had to make some very brief notes before I came on. One of the things about this is if you notice, really pay attention to yourself, your brain is running 24/7. Your body is functioning 24 days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yes, yes, thank you, Barbara. One of the things, if you notice, we have a lot of mental chatter going on all the time. The mind is just going and going and going and going. And many times people ask me, especially out here, my students in meditation class, like how can we cure that? Well, you can't just readily cure or stop the brain. You don't want to do that. That's what it does. It's kicking out stuff all the time. It's giving off electromagnetism all the time. And the healthier you are, the stronger it gets. I'm going to say that again. The healthier you are, the stronger of the radiance, the resonance of your energy is floating out there in the universe. We have to become like our ancestors did from eons ago. Is to try, or I must say try, do our best to keep the mind free of unnecessary chatter, keep the heart free from unnecessary debris that sets up a wall that blocks us from, truly showing who we are. And so I was going to call this You Are Your Higher Self, but then I realized not yet. Many of you may have my seventh book, and it talks about that. And it reveals in my seventh book who is the higher self. Because we've been taught, to stay disconnected. And it was something that was fascinating that I was reading, I guess, online today. And it was talking about time and how time is governed in this world and how the majority of us worldwide are using the Gregorian calendar because we feel that's everybody will be on the same page. But I was reading how in Ethiopia, they're going by their calendar system till this day. And they are capable, because their minds work that fast, they are capable and able to calculate between the two. So they have their traditional Ethiopian calendar, and I think the current year for them was something like 6,266 years. That's where they are in the calendar. Here, over here, and everybody else, we're in 1,900 and so and so. No, there's over 6,000 years, 5,000 years more of us way ahead of time. And they have learned to flip back and forth between the two, calculate month, day, and year according to the Ethiopian calendar system. And I was like, wow, that's real freedom. When you're going by your ancestral calendar year and you're not letting a so-called quote unquote colonizer switch around your culture on you so that you're functioning like them. So can you imagine being able to sit down and be that clear in your mind and calculate right down to the last hour? Like for them, the new year is when you go from a dry season to a rainy season. So after the rainy season is over, then you see all this greenery that they have out there. That's amazing. So they're just like in the middle of the year. It's not like December, January, like the Gregorian calendar system. It's like during their time. And that's fascinating. They're using a 12-hour clock. That's fascinating. So they have to know the difference between the AM and the PM when they're making appointments. We might say, "Oh, I'm going to meet with you at 2 p.m." That's 2 a.m. in the morning to them. So the reason why I bring that up is that we are constantly putting things together in our mind. We're constantly figuring out tasks, what tasks to do from day to day to day, to moment. And we're doing this constantly. And these laptops, these desktops, these cell phones, and all of these other gadgets that we have are the things that are more likely, excuse me, are the things that are more likely holding us back because we're on someone else's time. We decided to do that. But if we decided to figure out which ancestral lineage we come from and start functioning from that time, we might live a lot longer. And it's not about political stuff, it's about doing what's correct for the body. If we do what's correct for our body, we will probably overcome so many disease categories. We won't be so stressed out. Excuse me, I have to plug my phone in before the battery goes off here. So bear with me for a second. I don't mean to interrupt my own broadcast, but I have to put this in here and I hopefully have it right. There I go. So we are all the time using someone else's data. And the mind, what we call the mind, is all the different capabilities that we are able to do with this brain of ours. I got to make one more adjustment. Got it in the wrong way. We'll be right back. Stay where you're at. I think that. All right. And anyway, I think I'm getting it right. Well, anyway, we are, yes. Anyway, we are all about being consistent, being present. And so I often tell all my students, no matter if you're doing it virtually with me or in person, one on one, is that it's very important to look forward to learning how to be in total silence with yourself. And here you are, you're striving to be on point, to be in tune, to not feel like you're all over the place because you're in line with yourself. And that's highly important. So what I try to do with all of my students, and some of you are good at it, so I don't have to mention it. But many of you who feel that you are a beginner, it's my job to teach you meditation. And one of my goals is to give you the confidence in relying on your abilities and capabilities to help you trust and have faith in yourself so that you can sit in silence by yourself. Because everybody says, well, okay, I go home, I practice. How many times should I practice a day? How many times a week should I practice? Well, you want to be in position to practice daily. And you might start off once a day, like when you first get up in the morning. That's when you're coming out of what is called that alpha state, where you're feeling like you're in and out, like you're not, you know, you're in your body, but you're not fully awake to realize, yes, you're in your body. Yes, you're sleeping on a bed or a couch or on the floor or on a futon or on a mattress or in a chair. But even in that state of mind, it's still turning. The wheel is still turning. So people ask, well, can I stop that? My advice is don't pay it too much attention, but don't stop it. That's something that you naturally do. And these things called cell phones and laptops and all these things are based on what you do. So you don't kill that part of yourself off. You let it be. But what you train yourself to do is don't pay it too much attention. That you got 1,000 bits of data running through your mind that make up one thought. Those thousands and trillions and billions of bytes running through your mind has color, makes up sound, makes up lines, makes up spatial things, perspectives, whether it's 2 point, 3 point, 4 point, spatial, 6 point. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. So you're trying to figure these things out and trying to see how they work within you. And yet, if you were, let's say, having your eyes open while you were meditating and could do that as well, you notice naturally your eyes are going to dart up and around the room. Why? Because it's in your nature to feel protected wherever you're sitting. This is why I tell people, especially women, if you're outdoors, like in a park, be very careful of your areas where you choose to sit and meditate. And this is for us. Now that I'm a senior, I make my other seniors more aware of it too. If you're sitting outside, know your environment. That's very important. Know the environment that you are in. How many people are sitting in the park? Are there people sitting in the park? Are there cars parked nearby? I know when I used to meditate in my 20s and 30s in state parks, and many times, even when I used to be sitting by myself or standing doing Tai Chi, and there was some people, man, they would just be sitting in their cars. And back in the day, I must say, back in the day when I wore fez, wore my Moorish fez, I'm just in the woods minding my own business. And people were like, especially men, who don't look like me, were lurking in the park, following me around in the park. But because I knew the environment of where I was, I wouldn't run or anything like that. It'd be like maybe two or three of them lurking around, seeing why am I in the park? Well, I would walk and get into a zone where a place I could like get out of their radar. Then I'd take my fez off and stand in a location where I could see them. And then as they pass through, I'd come out of that onto the path, and then I'd stand there. Yeah, put my fez back on. And they notice, okay, they walked 50 yards past me. But it's a matter of keeping oneself safe. And the reason why I say that, because if you notice, it's already Thursday. I felt like I was just here yesterday doing Thursday from last week. Time is moving quickly, energetically. So it's not like the man made time is really governing anything. Cosmic time is. People talk about quantum jumping, leaping from one time dimension into another, and realize it's a part of you. So whatever you focus on greatly, that's the one that you're in. But if you put your mind, your thoughts into another time link, we might call realm or dimension, then that one begins to become more meaningful to you, more helpful to you, and you realize you're in greater control. So let's do that as an exercise because this is very important. Now, I want to put in here that guided meditation does help. So I'm like kind of guiding you through this, but eventually you don't need it. You guide yourself. The whole idea is for you to delve deeply enough into yourself to find other parts of yourself that you can then put into motion. So here you are in this present condition, wherever you are, maybe in your car, seated in a park. And nowadays you can't even do that. So that's why I say be careful where you are. But you're going to put out into the ethers around you, into your auric field, that no matter what you're doing, guided meditation, silent meditation, sound meditation, you are always in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, and the right kinds of people are in that space, meaning positive thinkers, positive doers, more loving. So let's go to just a moment into an energetic field of yourself. And in this field of yourself, you have 100% awareness of how you are breathing and how you are feeling moment to moment, clusters of seconds and minutes at a time. Your breathing, the way that you breathe, helps you slow down the mental chatter. And what you will find is when the mental chatter begins to slow down, you begin to feel a sense of expansion, not just mentally, but expanding your feelings. What are you feeling that's going on around you? This is what mindfulness meditation is all about. It's being 100% focused in the now moment, but not to feel worried, to be attentive and alert, but not to feel worried, not to feel rushed, to feel a sense of calmness and peace. And what does that feel like for you? What does calmness and peace, harmony and self-love, what does that feel like to you? You're becoming more empathic in the path, in the energy field, you feeling all of that. Granted, thoughts are still pumping out, but now a new set of thoughts are coming in. Why? Because you're focusing only on the present moment. And the bombardment of thoughts is settling down. It's not overwhelming you, it's settling down. What you discover when meditating daily is one of the most important things, that you have a heartbeat, that you can breathe. That's two. Three, that you can feel, that you're sensitive to your environment and you're sensitive to breathing, heartbeat, and how you're feeling. And you begin to pay attention to what energies are yours and what energies that do not belong to you. Yet you do not feel separated from any of that. That's the goal, not to feel separated. Now that you're aware that you're pumping out information rapidly, you are receiving information rapidly. So it's like the brain becomes this organic antenna. The body becomes this organic generator and magnet, and it's feeling everything and it's transforming, it's turning the thoughts and bits of data into cohesiveness. So it makes sense to you, so that you understand where all of it is coming from, or at least most of it. You are allowing yourself bits and pieces of moments. And guess what? Through internalizing this, you realize that you are consciously aware all the time, not just unconscious. You are consciously aware. What we call the superconscious kicks in. That's going beyond the ego. That's going into what he was called the higher self, transcending into that energy field and realizing mental chatter doesn't bother you anymore, because you can feel what you need to feel about your environment. And as long as you keep breathing, you enhance your levels of sensitivity, and therefore knowing and sensing from which direction, any direction, that energy is coming from to you. So it doesn't matter if it's way up in the sky somewhere, or down the road from you, or next door neighbor, or the neighbor behind you, the birds in the trees, the ants in the ground. You can feel all of this, and none of it is disturbing you. Because if you practice your meditation and make it functional for you, nothing will disturb you. What you will notice is that you will be able to gain more energy, pull it all in through your breath, and capitalize on it. Use it to keep yourself calm, keep yourself centered, and make your mental chatter dissolve, but make your thinking capacity evolve and expand. Well, now you're thinking faster. Now you're seeing things in clusters, correspondence, right? Able to recognize this, and put it together. So in meditation, you're striving for silence so that you can elevate, so that you can step into those different brain cycles, hurt cycles, brain cycles, and override anything that is disturbing, dissolve it if it's in your system, control it if it's in your atmosphere, and communicate with it if necessary. Now you'll have to replay that back because that came from the element of higher self. And see, that's another thing. Mental chatter, since it's happening all the time, you are in constant communication with yourself all the time. People say, well, hey, I see this man or woman talking to themselves, talking to themselves, talking to themselves. I used to think that way too. I tell you, I really did. I said, that person's got some mental illness. Then I realized they're not necessarily having mental illness. Sometimes they are talking to self. I found myself 10 years ago, about 10 to 15 years ago, talking to myself, having a conversation with myself. But that self that I was having a conversation with was the higher self, because it would bring me back into states of consciousness of remembering a whole boatload of stuff going on that I wasn't necessarily paying attention to before. This is why I say in my new book, Radiant Heart, that once you are able, see, I just list 7 amazing pathways. I know these pathways work, but this book might trigger you to find other pathways. But one of the things you want to realize is you can communicate. In this book, I mentioned that one of the things that described the higher self is known as the still small voice. People say, well, I hear a voice. Who is that speaking to me? I hear it. The book tells you who it is. It is the higher self, the transcendental self, the self that can override all systems and step into a world of knowing and being and acting and doing and having and not being disturbed by external nor internal forces. The higher self claims its space because it knows where it is. So mental chatter is going to happen. It's happening. It's happening right now. You sit down and do a grocery list. Not only you thinking about the list, the grocery list, what to put on the grocery list, you're thinking about what's not in the refrigerator, right? You're thinking about, well, how many different types of vegetables or fruits do I need to get today? You're thinking about that too. Then you're thinking about, well, what I got to do tomorrow. Is there anything I have to do tonight? Do I have an appointment with somebody tonight? Do I have to talk to some other people tonight? All of this stuff is going on. And you're able to absorb it all. Why? Because everything is chattering. Plants are chattering. Weather stations are chattering. Elements in the air are having discussions. In the water are having discussions. Everything is in communication with each other. But we've been taught to separate from it. It's not true. No, it is true. Everything has a level of intelligence built into it, and everything can communicate within its own realm and then beyond. We are seeing ourselves do this all the time. Who am I today? Who was I yesterday? Do I need to change my appearance? Do I need to change my outlook? Do I need to change how I'm thinking? Do I need to throw out an old way of thinking? Do I need to throw some old clothes out? Constantly planning. When we're not pushing elements of thoughts forward, we are receiving elements of feelings and sensitivities and the potentiality of something going off track or on track, or a person falling off track. We're just able to do that and more. So I wanted to bring that forward today. We're constantly chattering. The mental chatter is consistent. You don't want to shut it off. You just want to tone it down. Why? Because there's layers of wavelengths around you that you're sitting in, that you're walking through, jogging, driving, you name it. All of this stuff is right there. And it's becoming a part of you, and it kicks some of the things that are in your field out. It disperses it. So meditation helps you claim yourself, claim your feelings, claim your thoughts. Meditation helps you to establish who you are. And silence is golden, because if you can get into that energy field where silence exists for you, nothing disturbs you. Yet you're able to see everything that's going on around you. And this is why I say practice doesn't make perfect. Practice keeps you what? Aware. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be aware of your environments. If you like this show, subscribe to it if you haven't. If you like this show, this podcast that I'm doing mostly every Thursday, I believe this is podcast number 168 or 169. Subscribe, hit the like button, tell a friend that I'm back. I'm doing all of these things and more. And I want to let you know what else is going on. I am affiliated with Resident Essentials Esoteric School of Metaphysics. Okay, and we always have a lot of different events going on every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. at 2703 Broadbent Parkway, Northeast, Suite J. I'm there teaching my meditation class, my Creative Pathwork meditation series. I give some of the basics of the mechanics of meditation and what to look for. If you meet some of my students out here who have been with me for at least close to 6 months, they are beginning to experience the energy known as the higher self. And they are beginning to connect with the higher self, and they're beginning to realize who the higher self truly is. There are a lot of things going on here for Resident Essentials. And so I'm going to read off some of the things. We have gentle yoga. That's going to be happening July 2nd, 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th from, I believe that will be maybe a Tuesday or a Monday, with my good friend Ida Berkey. Ida Berkey, she will be the instructor. She'll be doing it from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. It's $13 per class. And so you want to get, if you're out here, you want to get in touch with her. She's doing Nidra uh, meditation, which is guided meditation during Savasana. I think that's the postures. She says this will help us give some love to our joints and our souls. Let us have a little fun, reduce stress, and hopefully get a good night's sleep. That's Ida Berkey quoting that. She's the instructor. You want to get in touch with Ida Berkey, if you're out here, call area code 210-887-7730. That's in the month of July, and this month is almost over. We have an IONS group. That's the International or Institute of Noetic Sciences here in Albuquerque. They use our facility on Saturday, July 13th from 1 to 3 p.m. Is another friend of mine that I haven't seen in a while. Her name is Geneva Chavez Mitchell, and she's going to present her book on sacred money, the power of heart-centered finance. And she will present ways to heal the divide between money and spirit. And donations are welcome. So that's going to be on Saturday, July 13th at 1 p.m. And of course, I'll be here from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. just for $10 meditation class. We have a lot of things going on. On Zoom, we have the Albuquerque Tarot Circle and suggested donation $10 on Zoom. you need to get in touch with Susan Pepper Yohola, and she leads this online. She's an excellent tarot instructor, and she's been doing this for years, and she helps a lot of people. And this will be on Saturday, July 6th at 10:30 a.m. And you'll be able to connect with her online. So you're going to look for Susan. You're going to write to Susan at Albuquerque Tarot Circle at gmail.com. That's Albuquerque Tarot Circle at gmail.com. And this is for beginners as well as intermediate and advanced people teaching you online. We also have a subject title here on July 30th and 31st from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. July 30th and 31st. Become a confident crystal reader. You want to RSVP with Michelle at resonantessentials.com. It will be taught at 2703 Broadbent Parkway, Northeast, Suite J. And the instructor for this will be Barbara Portslane. She is the instructor. She's a very nice lady. I met her before. And you might want to come here if you're here in town and to get that direct. Okay. And then we have astrology natal charts. And that's going to be happening for $60, July 27th, 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. I believe that's going to be a Saturday. Limited seating right here for Resident Essentials. Contact Lee, Lee, at crystalsoulpath.com. So just some of the things here that are happening. We have classes by Michelle Vidal, Intuitive Explosion, that's happening. You want to call her at 505-453-7646. And she's giving this 8 weeks starting Sunday, July 21st, 1 to 3 p.m., $269. Hey, just go to the website, www.resonant, RESONANT, essentials, ESSENTIALS.com. And you'll see all the practitioners that are there, and you can work with them remotely too. Most of them do. You'll see them listed, and then you will also see the different things that they do. We have 4 or 5 practitioners associated with Resident Essentials Esoteric School of Metaphysics. Well, let me get back over here where I can see. And this is King Limio Productions. Hey, Brother Bay, know you well. Yeah, you gonna call me. Well, today I'm running in and out. We will connect at some point. One other thing I want to say is that we are the controllers of our own mind. Sometimes and I know I'm on this internet all the time, through my phone, through my laptop. I'm constantly doing research. I'm constantly looking out what's out there and what's not out there. And it's important for me to know what's going on around, because I've been doing this stuff for 40 plus years. I've been teaching and I've been involved with meditation for 53 years. That's over half a century. I got started in the middle of my freshman year in college in 1971. I wish I could find that guy. His name is Martin Searcy. He's a African American male brother, Moorish brother. I wish I could find him, because he's the one that introduced me to meditation. And I tell you, it is a blessing to constantly receive information all the time and to be able to do it through meditation. And you could check online. There's meditation being done worldwide by Tibetan monks, by people all over the United States. And if more people would join in, I know Deepak Chopra has done it as a Guinness Book of World Records, having 1 million people online, offline, meditating for a certain period of time on a Pacific day. And they have watched crime rates drop. Crime rates drop when you have a community of people meditating all at the same time. That's a blessing. So, you should start a meditation group in your area. Start a meditation group in your area. Just yourself and a few people get together at a designated time of the day, a Pacific day if you can. And the reason for that is you are constantly building up energy that will mushroom out throughout your neighborhood, throughout your county, state, regional area of the United States that you're in, and reach across the pond, as we say, to other people also meditating. If a lot of us did this more often, all the nonsense that we see in the world that becomes mental chatter will begin to shut down and eventually shut off. The more people who can meditate in a group format, collaborating in a group, can affect whole regions. I'll give you an example that comes from a book that came out in the late 1960s. The author is Ken Keyes, Keyes, and he wrote a book on higher consciousness. Look for Ken Keyes, his book on higher consciousness. And he talked about sort of like the butterfly effect. The storyline that he gave was a group of monkeys on an island, only consciously aware of themselves on an island. This group was surrounding, in a circle around each other, another monkey. This monkey was trying to figure out how to get the fruit out of the tree. I mean, a lot of the fruit. Now, yes, the monkey could climb the tree. That's what they do normally. But the monkey found an extension, and that was a branch. And it put the branch in its mouth and scaled up the tree and began whacking at the fruit. And that monkey was able to knock off a whole bunch of fruit, not just get one, a whole bunch of fruit. So that means he must have been going up there for bananas. He might have been going up there for something similar to coconut, whatever. He was pounding away until he got it on the ground. Now, amongst themselves, those monkeys already figured out how to peel a banana, and they also figured out how to break open a coconut. These are animals. They have their own, they're not limited in thinking like we think. They're very intelligent creatures. But eventually, they all learn from that one monkey. They don't have to be waiting now, starving on the ground. They can go get the fruit themselves. Find something that looks like something heavy that he had, put it in the mouth, scale the tree, knock off the fruit. Well, this continued to happen for a considerable amount of time, not just days, but months and years. This frequency went out into the ethers, into the atmosphere, beyond the one island. And eventually, monkeys everywhere were picking up on that frequency, picking up on that image, picking up on that feeling, found an appropriate branch, scaled the tree, knocked fruit off. Now monkeys are from island to island and not starving anymore. Figured it out. Meditation happens the same way. A powerful group of people meditating together can transform an entire city, a state. They can impact a country, their own country, and the country upon across the lake. They can do it. That's my message for today. Let us go back into the mindset of our ancestors. They didn't worry about mental chatter. They overrode the mental chatter. They stepped out into the higher frequency called their higher self. and they began to communicate with other energy elements all around them and became more successful, more in control, more at peace. They grew spiritually, they grew exponentially, metaphysically. That's my message for today. I hope to be back here next Thursday. I tell you, time is moving fast. I felt like I just did this yesterday. I felt like yesterday was last Thursday. I noticed for me, my weeks are no longer running Monday through Sunday. My weeks are running Thursday to Thursday. Be aware how fields of energy are moving around you as well. Do something that makes you happy. Do something that makes a blessing for others to be fulfilled and to receive. And remember, my grace is your grace. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. And Lemuel, we'll be talking soon. I can't talk tomorrow morning because I'm going to be in a Resonant Essentials intentional group we do online. And Saturday, I got to get up early in the morning, but we will catch up. Hopefully, I'm supposed to be on Brother Brandon Smith's meditation and forgiveness on Sunday night. I'm trying to get in touch with him. He wants to have me on. That's supposed to be this Sunday coming up online. So I have to find out from him when that is taking place. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. Lemuel, King Lemuel, Barbara Ewing, and I suspect some other people will be here. So I'll give some shout outs ahead of time on names. Melanie Hall, Julie Tyndall, Jackie Fillmore, Antoine. I thank all of you if you got on here. Also, I want to thank Lauren White if you got on, Kathy if you got on, Kathy Pacheco if you were here, Michelle Vidal if you got a chance to listen. Thank you. And of course, you'll be seeing me soon as usual. Who else? So many other people. Oh, Corey Searles. Thank you for joining me as well if you are on here. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend. It is time for me to go celebrate a little bit, so I'm getting out of here. Take care. See you next week. Oh, and if you want to know about my classes, go to my website. My email address is iam.circleofgrace1@gmail.com. You want to find out of the course that's coming up on my book on July 24th and how to participate in that 13-week online course, you can go to my website, https:// www.circleofgrace1.us and go there, and that page will probably come up first, and it explains everything you need to know, how much it costs, how much the early bird. You got just a few more days to get that early bird price of $365. After the 7th of July, it won't be available, and the real course fee is $437, but I can work some deals out if you can get one installment payment in. So email me at iam.circlegrace1@gmail.com or go to my website and get it there. Indigo Moon. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm trying. I'm working at trying to make these shows popular as possible. I'm a random podcaster, so when I go on to my other website, I may eventually start to do some hosting. I'll be the host and have a co-host or something like that, just to expand it out every now and then, at least maybe once a month. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.